Okay, 91.7 WLFR Pomona, Streetways Radio. Matt Umbersall here, and with me, BB Stevens. Welcome, sir, and how are you?
Hey, Matt, man, how is my favorite Jersey rocker, man? I mean, really, kudos to you, buddy.
Good. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Let's get to the big thing first. All right. You were on this show just a few months back, but as Stevie B.
That's correct.
Okay. Big change now. Okay. You are now going by BB Stevens. Did you? Oh, okay. Would you like to enlighten us on that?
Well, essentially, as we discussed last time when you had me on as an interview and I was still using the name Stevie B, you tried to get a little more information before the interview on me. And of course, when you put Stevie B into a search engine, a lot of other Stevie Bs come up. And when I got signed to this new label deal, one of the stipulations in the contract is that we change my name because their main concern was the search engine
Right.
problem. So they actually were the ones that came up with the BB Stevens, and it rolls off the lips, so it's fine with me, so I'm not complaining about it. And as long as the label pays me at the end of the contract, I'm happy enough. So, hey, slap me silly and call me Susie as far as I'm concerned. So that is the genesis of the BB Stevens name. But, it did cause some problems when I changed to BB Stevens. And Well, just to cut to the chase, what the problem was
right.
All these rumors started flying about out there that Stevie B had died.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I just want to, share with you and your listeners, I didn't die.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Or okay. Or okay. You could say that it's metaphorical, and then like a phoenix, you're BB Stevens now.
Well, that's
rising
true.
From the ashes.
That's true. And how that rumor got started was my publicist decided to, as a kind of an attention grabber, to actually get an image of a tombstone. And on the tombstone, she had Stevie B put up there with dates of birth and death. And then she was posting it all over the internet. And thus, that's how this, I had friends contacting me and just, going, "Oh, you're alive. What do you mean? Tell me something I don't know here." And, but yeah, no, those are unfounded rumors. And I agree with you. It's better to be alive than not to be alive.
Oh, yes. I think I did see that picture on your Facebook, but still, I personally, I got the joke right away, but still, I guess some people don't. Yeah.
and I mean, we all basically kind of die every 10 years. One of the facts in biology is that every 10 years, every single cell, every organ, everything in your body has regenerated. You're really a new person every 10 years. So
right. So yeah, that's true. I do remember hearing that myself. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So from Stevie B to BB Stevens, you have a brand new EP out now.
Do indeed.
Yes. And I just listened to it recently. I enjoyed it a lot.
Wow, that really makes my day, Matt. I'll tell you, because being a musician, it's you never quite know, if what you're doing has any appeal to anybody, and you don't want to, give it to your family and friends. Say, what do you think? Because even if they think it's terrible and it stinks, they're going to say it's really great, man. And so, I mean, just a prominent disc jockey such as yourself, a prominent show host such as yourself, a man with infinite knowledge about the music business, that means a lot to me. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Okay. All right, then. And So okay. So tell us a little bit about the new EP. Um, how did it come about?
Okay. Well, the new EP came about basically because I had released a single with Stevie B earlier this year. And I got great response. I mean, that's why you had me on your show and everything. And we spoke before, and you actually played the record on your program and your radio station. I guess enough that it actually ended up on your charts. So I was really pleased as punch about that. And after putting out the single, and the single attracted quite a bit of attention from not only just other artists and basically people who love music, but also from people in the music industry. And I had different artists, different record companies, different record producers starting to put out their own version of my song. And not just put out my version of the song the way I did it, but reimagined and revisioned the way that I did it with their own style and technique. For instance, I had one group that was a hip hop collective of hip hop music producers, and they put out a rap version of the song of Lucifer's Reign, which, by the way, is on the EP as my version, the original Lucifer's Reign. And later on, I was really honored when a record label contacted me and said, we have signed Scotty Austin to our label. And Scotty was the former lead vocalist for almost a decade for Saving Abel, the that rock group. I mean, that has just sold oodles and oodles of records, and hit Billboard charts, done world tours and everything. And when Scotty parted from Saving Abel and went his own way, he hooked up with this record label, Stryker Records, and they signed him. But Stryker was calling me to tell me Scotty would like to cover the song. It's kind of like, wow, sure, yeah, go for it. And be another added little gem, or I guess cherry on the top of the sundae, was the fact that he added that and Scotty's going to have Malcolm Springer produce. Now, Malcolm Springer, if you do a little research out there with Wikipedia and stuff, he's a multi-Grammy Award winner producer. As well as over the decades, he's worked with like Fear Factory, Matchbox 20, even lighter guys like Joan Armatrading. He did some work with Isaac Hayes. And I mean, he's a remix master. He's a master producer. And like when I heard that, it's kind of like, whoa, maybe there's something here. So we did that. They put out that their version of Lucifer's Reign, and they subtitled it "The Bad One Is Back," which I love. In fact, I hear in the grapevine right now, some major professional wrestler is in negotiation with Stryker to use that as his theme song for his march to the ring. Because isn't that a great thing? The bad one is back. I mean, if you probably know in wrestling, you're either a heel or a hero. Well, he's right. Not a heel, so the bad one is kind of like just plays into the whole scenario there. But anyway, so great things were happening. And then I guess after a month or two after the Scotty Austin version came out, and we were getting tremendous response on that from radio, press, retail, streaming, you name it. They contacted and said, we like what you did too. If you have some recordings, send them over, and we'd like to maybe put out your next record. And I thought, well, wow, that's sweet. Why not? And so I had like around 5 that were already done, including the original Lucifer's Reign. And I worked with them kind of playing around with the sequencing for like around a month. I sat down with my record producer. We went over it together quite a few times. We came up with a sweet sequence that I think works beautifully the way that we have it ordered, on the EP. And I fell in love with it. I sent it over to Stryker. Within a very short time, I had a contract in front of me. And I love Stryker because Stryker is an imprint on the Universal Music Group family. And so a lot of muscle there and a lot of clout there in the industry. And so it just came out September 29th, the EP. The title is Not My Monkeys, which I'm sure you probably know where that title comes from. But if not, I will give you the backstory on that in a bit. But so that's how the whole EP came about.
Oh, great. Okay, you know what? Since you mentioned it, why don't you enlighten those who might not know, where did okay, where did Not My Monkeys come from?
Okay. In literature, it's been used for many decades. And in fact, it's kind of become a idiom, or, just kind of a little phrase that a lot of people, hip people, throw out every now and then. And it has a preceding line that works with it. And that line is, it's not my circus. It's not my monkeys.
Oh,
In other words, I don't care. It's not my
right.
problem. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I thought that kind of, epitomized my framework or my mindset, because outside of music, I don't care about much of anything. And so that is where the Not My Monkeys came into play as the title for the EP. And then what the plan is my deal with Stryker is for a single for this, I'm sorry, for the EP for this year. Beginning of next year, they have the rights first refusal for an album. And if they pick up the album, I'm planning to call the album Not My Circus.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay, good. Um, good stuff. So, okay, tell us a bit more about the actual recording of the songs, please.
Okay, I use this wonderful recording studio that's owned by my record producer. My record producer is Sir Douglas Fabiano, and Sir Douglas is an amazing record producer. He's also kind of my therapist, I think, through producing my songs, because he pulls things out of my music that I really wasn't aware that was in there. And after he pulls these things, I hear them. It's kind of like I realize, you know what? Right, this is not an angry song. This is a sad song, and it really got me thinking and examining the way I deal with different emotions and how I process things. Anyway, so Douglas is my record producer. He owns his own recording studio out in South Plainfield, New Jersey, and it's a bit of a trek for me. I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey. And so it's like an hour Uber ride each way to get there and back, but it is so worth it. He lets me come in for, whenever I want to come in. We track the material. We have a great relationship, a way of working with each other. It's essentially the way we start a song is, instead of me coming to the studio and playing it for him, the old way, that old school way that musicians used to do, I will sit here in my office or in my home and record a quick demo of it on my cell phone. I will then figure out what the BPM, the beats per minute of the song is. I will then sit there after I've recorded the song and then pull out a metronome, set it to that BPM, and then make another recording of the song, but just me singing it. And I'll send him both versions. And then what he'll do is he'll begin to build tracks around what he's heard without me having to, be there showing what I'm playing or how I'm doing it and stuff. I mean, he's just amazing. And he's a multi-instrumentalist too. And he'll start tracking the record. He'll put together a rough version, drop my vocals in that I did with just the metronome. So when he sends it back, I hear how it's all fitting together. Sometimes he'll even drop my guitar parts in if they're on time enough with the release, because I don't play the original demo to a metronome. I just want to give him words and lyrics and music to start working with. And then I'll come up to the studio and start doing my vocal parts and my guitar parts and anything else. And for me, this is a wonderful way, as far as to be, the economy of time and everything else, and of travel back and forth, to South Plainfield. It's just a wonderful way to work. And when I get there, he has things all set up for me. I just march right in. Typically, we'll work on several releases at a time. Not finish them up that day, but just doing my parts. And then I'll disappear again. He'll work on them. He'll bring in other backing musicians. I have some great backup musicians I've been working with over for the EP, and plus I'm planning for the album. And he'll get everything ready. And then it's time for me, when he's ready to mix, it's time for me to go back up, because he always wants me there when we're mixing, and we'll sit there and we'll mix the record together.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Hey, okay. Are there any of the musicians that you're working with that you might like to mention?
Sure. Well, in the original Lucifer's Reign, I worked with a wonderful Japanese percussionist, a female percussionist named Erica Flowers, and she was played congos on. I'm sorry, yeah, conga drums and conga drums. Or conga drums on the Lucifer's Reign recording, as well as provided some really great backup vocals there. She provides that kind of satanic chant on the record, the oogalaga cha cha, oogalaga cha, oogalaga cha cha. And she's a very tiny little Asian woman. And I didn't even know she could sing. I just thought she was a great percussionist when I first brought her into the studio. But I was going to lay down some backing tracks when we were there. And I said, you want to come in and, maybe do some voice with, some vocals with? She said, sure. And when she came in and started singing, it was like, my goodness, she's channeling Aretha Franklin. I mean, it's soulful and just, belting it out. And I mean, where is it coming from? Well, it's coming from her soul. And so she was on Lucifer's Reign. She, unfortunately, though, had to go back to Japan back around, beginning of May. And she's been there since, and touring and, working with other musicians at the time. And we all have to make money. She's got a daughter to support. So during that time, Douglas brought in his other backing vocalist, just blew me away, a New Jersey artist named Raquel Ramos. And Raquel, I've never met. She just, I hear her on my recordings, and I've offered to get together with her and her husband, be my guest at dinner here in Hoboken if you want to make the trip over from wherever you guys are in New Jersey. But we've never met personally. But she comes in and she is a wailer. I mean, she's the female vocal you hear on all the other tracks throughout the EP. And other than that, Sir Douglas does all the other instrumentations, the drums, the keyboards, a lot of the, all the electric guitars. I'm acoustic player. We both sometimes contribute slide guitar, but mine is acoustic slide. His is the electronic slide. And in addition, he pitches out with backing vocals, and we're working on one song for the album, the upcoming album now, that provides that's kind of a jazzy little piece called "That's No Jive." And he's even there, providing tons of finger snaps and claps on it and stuff. And so he's just a great person to work with. And because he's kind of, as I say, I mentioned about being almost like a therapist to me, because he's like one of the songs from the EP that you heard, "A Hard, Hard Place," about the experience I've had living with a woman who was on antidepressives, and when she was on them, medication, when she was on the medication, was off, it was like worlds of difference, and it was like these huge mood swings. And that's my song about that. When I gave it to him, I thought, this is just one of my B.B. Stevens angry songs again. And when his production, as you hear on that one, is very, very sad. It's touching. And I said to him, I never realized the sadness in this song. And we started talking, and I realized, like most men, I do not process sadness. I take sadness and I channel it into anger. And I think men do that more so than women. And it made me start thinking, I got to change that in my life, because that's not a healthy thing, especially if you're in a relationship, because you focus that anger on the person closest to you. And so I've been working on, when I feel sad, not letting it get me angry any longer, but actually experiencing the sadness. And I don't know if you agree, as a guy, that we have a hard time sometimes processing emotions like that.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, so I've actually nicknamed Sir Douglas, Sir Douglas Sigmund Freud Fabiano. He's better than $150 an hour, couch session.
Yeah, great. It's very, very, very talented guy, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. Okay. I have also seen on your Facebook page that you've been playing out solo, right?
Yeah, and that has been wonderful. I've been doing, I started like any musician, I guess. When I got back into the business as B.B. Stevens, I started just going around doing open microphones. nights, going up and just playing one song, waiting for 5 hours to get up to play a song, and sometimes to no one except the staff at the bar that I was playing at, and but you gotta pay your dues, and
Yeah.
you gotta go out there and you gotta reach people. Creating in a vacuum where you're just sitting in a room and playing your own music, you don't know if it's landing at all with the people that you're aiming to try to do this music for, or share this music with. And so I started doing open mics, but then more recently I've started booking shows. One of the last ones I had was in September here in Hoboken at one of my favorite venues called the Mad Hatter. And I actually wrote a book about that, the Mad Hatter, and that was a setting for my last published novel called Alice. And it was so they kind of liked me over there. And so we started talking. I said, I'm about to go out on tour because I did a couple of weeks, just a few weeks after the Hatter up in Maine, and or I'm sorry, up in New England in general. And they said, want to come here and start playing? And I said, well, that'd be great because I want to work out, some rough spots in my show before I go and do this New England tour. And so they just started setting me up there that I could come in anytime I wanted. They'd have microphones and amplification set up for me, and I could sit there and play as long as I want, play as little as I wanted, come and go. And so they gave me a residency. And that is very valuable for any musician because, you have to work your act. Again, playing the music, knowing the words and the music is just one thing, but making the connection with your audience, particularly in venues, and Mad Hatter is one of those venues. They serve food, they serve drink, and people are coming to eat, talk, have a good time and stuff. To get them to listen to you, it took a couple different appearances before I started working on little tricks that kind of started to get people to stop talking, watch, actually start clapping, and start interacting. So I've been playing quite a bit now these days. I've got some New York City gigs coming up, the Lansing, Brooklyn Kitchen, etc. And I'm always looking for more shows.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. How do you like playing the solo acoustic versions compared to the full band versions that are on your EP?
It's more difficult because that's one of the hard things about getting people to stop what they're doing when you're playing a venue that's a busy venue like that and actually, listen to you. And so, but again, it's good exercise to learn how to, if I have to play solo, which I'm doing now, to learn that ability and master that. Before Erica left for Japan, we were working with a violin player and also another woman from Japan. And Erica, as my percussionist for a live show, but unfortunately she was called away. So we didn't get out there and do too much other than open mics as far as, playing with more than just me playing solo. But, I can handle. I'm very comfortable with my guitar work and my vocal work, and my social skills or audience skills have been getting progressively better with each performance.
Very good, sir. Okay. Hey, speaking of which, I think we did talk about it off mic. Joe would like to play one of your songs here, right?
Yeah, because my musical wife is right here behind me. This is Gideon. Gideon is the love of my life. I've been married multiple times unhappily, and I've been happily divorced multiple times. But Gideon, she stuck with me, man. She's the best. And we rehearse every day, like around at least 3 hours a day. We're sitting there and we're writing new stuff together, and we're working on the sets and everything. And she is just, let me put it this way. Gideon is the talent in the act. Me, she just brings me along because I'm the arm candy,
Okay.
Yeah, but she's the true talent. So this is Gideon, and we'd love to play you a song. And just to give you a little introduction before I start the song, this is a song that has a message that I want to share with your listeners who might be a little too young to retire from their jobs yet. But here's the message: you probably are never going to retire. I think that's become more of a fact as we go along, is that it's harder and harder for people to retire from their jobs and just, enjoy those twilight years, whatever you want to call them. This is a song about that frustration of realizing that, you know what, you're probably going to work every single day of your life until you drop. And it's a tune called, I think appropriately, Indentured Servant. And it goes like this. Indentured servant, serve another year. I promised you freedom, yeah, I still need you here. Indeed, you are shackled by chains of your own device. Oh, indentured servant, you've been enslaved by your own mind. You're at the mercy of the court. You wavered your rights, and they nailed you to the cross. Each nail that's hammered, been pounded by you. Oh, indentured servant, now what the heck did you do? But I don't know how we got here, how it all came to this. What was once so clear become a dark abyss. If I knew a prayer, that'd be the right time to pray. There'd be no more tomorrows. We're in a sunny day. Goalposts keep moving, time ticking by. It's moving on backwards as you serve your time. Sent to prison by the door of your peers, who saw all of your flaws, but not a single one of your tears. Well, I don't know how we got here, how they walk into this. What was once so clear has become a dark abyss. If I knew a prayer, now be the right time to pray. I've been through more tomorrows. Very sunny, very sunny day. Oh, indentured servant, servant of the year. I promised you freedom, yeah, I still need you here. Indentured servant, will you ever see that you'll never be free?
All right.
Gideon, everyone.
Gideon and to my BB Stevens. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure, man. That was fun. Thank you for allowing me to do that foolishness.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And that was not a song on your EP, I think, right?
That's going to be on the album. No, that's not part of the EP. I'm hoping that probably when you do this interview, you might play a few songs off the EP and let people hear how it sounds with the full productions. But just wanted to give people a preview of what's coming up for the album, and also just kind of see if, hey, let you guys see if I can play solo or not, or hold it all together just on my own. But yeah, I love playing and just do it any chance I can get.
Very
And
good. Very,
may I suggest something to you? I had a thought. I apologize for interrupting,
no
but
problem.
have you ever thought of organizing a music festival yourself, of Jersey musicians, a Jersey rocker festival? With the station.
Um, well, every so often, well, okay. Hey, WLFR does have an anniversary show every year, oh, and, you know, most years it is smaller that we do here in the local college coffee shop. We are supposed to be doing it this month, actually. In fact, okay. I'm not in charge of it this year, so I have to see what the deal is. But next year will be a big year for us. That we should be doing a big one. That will be 40 years for us. Yeah, yeah. Okay. You know, all the round numbers are the bigger shows of, okay, of course. I think this is our 39th year right now. Yeah.
Well, hey, if you ever need some talent for your shows, and if you're interested in what I'm doing, I'm there.
Well, thank you, sir. I will keep that in mind. Oh, you know well, yeah, we are always supportive of the Jersey artists, right? Who you know I will pass that along to the other managers here also. Very
Great.
good.
Well, I appreciate that.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So, okay, one thing I would like to touch on, since you mentioned it, and I saw it on your Facebook page too, right? Okay, hey, you're a somewhat of a Renaissance man. You're a novelist also.
Yes, I've had 3 novels published over the years, and the first one is called Pajamas on a Sun-Stained Beach, which I think came out around 2011, and then I had one published around 2017, 2018, called the Freaky Fungal Family Tree, and then one
Wow.
list last year called Alice. And Alice is the one I was telling you about, that the setting takes place in the Mad Hatter. And
Mm-hmm.
that's basically a mashup of the Alice in Wonderland through the Looking Glass story, which M. Shamalaya, is that how we pronounce his name? The guy that made that film, The Sixth Sense, with the creepy little kid.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah, I see dead people.
Right. M. Shyamalan, I think it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah.
say it better than I do, so I'm going to go with your idea of it. I have no clue, but so that's what it is. It's about a 26-year-old waitress who finds out she's single and finds out she's pregnant. She's becoming very frustrated with being kind of stuck in still waiting tables, and in addition, she and all the rest of the people in the restaurant have gone through COVID, as far as not being able to earn a living for quite a long time when they shuttered everything, if you remember those days of COVID. And so they all had built up enormous debts and everything, just trying to keep body and soul together. And I kind of wanted to write their story about, because I love people who work, wait staff in restaurants and bars. I think they're very wonderful people. They and they work very, very hard for,
oh yeah,
for minimum wage and tips.
Right.
And they're really hardworking people. So I kind of wanted to dedicate the book to people like that. And that's what Alice is about. And plus, it got me a great fan base at the Mad Hatter.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, okay. Okay. What is your byline for that? Stevie B or BB Stevens or what?
I'm allowed to do anything outside of creating music, publishing music, performing music. That I have to use BB Stevens. But anything outside of that, I can still use a Stevie B. When my friends now ask me, well, what do you want me to call you? I figure a good compromise is I just tell them, you can just call me B. Simple enough.
That watch out now. Oh, that could be short for something else. So
Well, as I shared with you, my call me Susie, slap me silly, feeling about names. Names aren't that important to me.
yes.
What's important is what you do with your life, what you do with your time while you're here.
Yes, most definitely, sir. All right then. So people can find your music when they search BB Stevens now, right?
Yes, they can find it on Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, all the major platforms. Stryker Records was really wonderful about getting it out everywhere worldwide. And already we're starting to see a lot of great reaction to it. We just made a music video for the commercial radio single for the EP last week and released it. And it's the third song on the EP, a haunting little song called Spirit Be Gone. And with that, we made a music video that dropped last week. And within the first 3 days, we had like over 50K of views, several hundred different likes on it, close to 100 comments. And the numbers keep growing on a daily basis. And that's thanks to my own promotion staff, but also the Stryker Records people, Universal Music Group people.
That is fantastic. I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you, Matthew.
Okay. Hey, all right. Okay. I will be playing your music also. Any particular favorites off of it?
To me, my favorite off the whole EP is the first song, "Goodbye, Baby."
It's a good one. I've heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, that I really love because it's simple. It drives like a Mercedes. It really, to me, has a lot of power to it and everything. It handles it. It confronts a subject that is kind of, I guess, we're more open to talking about these days, and that is just, it's kind of a pansexual subject. And I don't take any sides, but either sexually or anything else in the song. But what I do is basically the premise of the song is finding out that special someone in your life might not be all that meets the eye, if you know what I mean.
Okay,
and so, as that's revealed to you, you're beginning to go, well, goodbye, baby. Or perhaps not, because you listen to the lyrics. It's kind of like, well, going back and forth, am I going to leave or am I going to stay?
Right. Okay. All right then. Okay. We will definitely be checking that out. And once it's again, best of luck from WLFR here.
Thank you, Matthew. It is an honor to be here talking with you. And you and WLFR are the best.
Thank you, sir. All right.